Oh yeah. Good morning, good night, good day, good evening, good afternoon, good after breakfast, good after lunch, good after dinner, good after whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome back to Humanitarian Chronicles. This is Rasta Doc, Dr. Dave Wasamla, Dr. David Wasamla, Dreadlock Doctor, or Rasta Doc Silver Fox. Again, for some reason, it is like that, but I will tell you one day, maybe I will not. So, welcome back to Humanitarian Chronicles. Just quickly, you see the background of my TV station? My TV station. Let's start with Broken Souls. I am Broken Soul number 1, Broken Soul number moja. I am the brokenest of broken souls. Kama kuna souls mebrekika. Can you see my testicular area with my... this thing should be higher, isn't it? It should be around here on the heart, not here on the around the spleen. But anyway, Broken Souls it comes twofold or threefold or fourfold. First of all, Broken Souls is the book that I wrote, Broken Souls Chronicles of a Humanitarian Health Worker. It's a book I wrote to highlight the plight of humanitarians, the struggles we go through, the things that we have to fight on a daily basis. I'm trying to put the microphone in a way that looks like I'm speaking into it. Lazima tujichoche ni kama tuko nayo na hatuna. Let me just confirm that my mic is going to be picking. It should be. Yes, so Broken Souls Chronicles of a Humanitarian Health Worker is my book, the book I wrote and released April of 2025. It highlights the plight of what is Subiduria TikTok? Sabiduria. I hope Simatusi, by the way. I really hope it's not an insult to anybody. It's a book I wrote to highlight the plight of humanitarians, frontline workers, emergency responders of all kinds. It could be medical, it could be non-medical, it could be military, police, paramedics, there's food there. Whoever it is that is in that space, and the trauma we go through, the struggles we have to endure, the masks we have to wear as we do our work, so that we don't show our pain to the people that we are serving. That's like a common thing. You can't go to work to help somebody who is in need of medical help, and then you yourself feel like, oh, I have a headache. Can you imagine I didn't sleep tonight? I wish I could just sleep a little more. Also, how can I help you? What is your problem? No. We don't sleep most of the time. It's now it's now 5:03. I've been awake since 4, and that one I am happy. I have slept till 4. Usually I wake up at 3 o'clock, no matter what time I sleep. Even if I sleep at 2:45 a.m., I will wake up at 3 a.m. Reason? Fearfulness, fearticulation. Gaza messed me up. I was in Gaza for a year. So today is basically frequently asked questions. And so twofold, frequently asked questions so that I can kind of answer those. The things that people have been asking me for the last 13 years, close to 14 years, why I do what I do, where I go, why I go, when I go, stuff like that. Who am I? Which doctor am I, or am I a witch doctor? Because that perception, misconception that medical doctors should look a particular way, stuff like that. And then I look not like a typical medical doctor, at least not in Kenya, and I know in many African countries. If I walked in today, you'd be like, no, maybe, but no, also. And also, it wasn't me, it was my lookalike, my cousin, doppelganger. So the second part of this, we'll be talking about what we are calling PADS Funds Drive. A PADS Funds Drive. It's to do with sanitary pads. Let me write that down so that I don't forget why I'm doing this. So one is frequently asked questions, FAQS. 2, PADS Funds Ride. PADS Funds Ride, to be specific. PADS Funds Ride, because it's bikers who are doing this. Bikers for bikers, humanitarians for humanitarians. So quick introduction. You see the background there. You see my t-shirt has... I'll be back. I dropped my microphone. Did you break? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, microphone. I'm sorry, microphone. Are you hearing my kisses on the microphone? Wait. Let me move the mic on the magnet. Where is it? and the magnet's this way so that it's not anywhere near my tentacles and I don't throw it away by mistake. Mike, I didn't plan to throw it away. It just a mistake. So as I was saying, what was I saying? Now I've forgotten. Yeah, so 3 T's. 3 T's. The 3 T's is basically what is at the back there, tackling trauma together. 3 T's, hashtag 3 T's, tackling trauma together. What I'm doing is setting up a network that is threefold. So fold number 1 in the 3 T's is a network of broken souls, meaning humanitarians, emergency responders, frontline workers who are broken by trauma, who have been broken over time by situations that we found ourselves in the field mostly, but also just in life, so that we're able to come together and, the way puzzles find pieces that fit into them. Maybe my part of my broken soul is in Turkana, is in Nyeri, is in wherever, in Nairobi somewhere, Mombasa, in Timbuktu, Sierra Leone, Liberia. I have no idea. It could be in the US, it could be in the UK, it could be in Ukraine, it could be in Russia. I have no idea. So that we as broken souls come together and we fit our broken souls, our pieces, find our broken souls, our pieces of broken souls, and fit them together like a puzzle. But that's how I look at it creatively. That said, yeah, so the idea is so that broken souls, all of us who are struggling with trauma, PTSD of all kinds, of all types, from whatever places, with whatever reasons, regardless of where you're coming from, regardless of your skin color, your orientation, regardless of your level of education, whatever it is, be it medical, be it military, be it police, be it civilian, be it whoever you are, wherever you are, I want to bring us together so that we're able to support each other. This is why there's a tagline somewhere that says, for humanitarians, by humanitarians. I am a humanitarian myself, and I'll briefly mention that as I talk about what I do, who I am. Let me just note that down. Who is it? What I am. What I am. Yeah, what I am is my careers. Who I am is me. So who I am. Who I is. So what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 W's. Okay. So that's what we are looking at. Welcome to the live. Wherever you are, wherever you are. Welcome. Good. We had said we said the greeting, so we won't say it again. Yeah. Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. Yeah, please stay here. Yeah. So that's the fold number 1 of the threefold kind of idea of broken souls. Fold number 2 is putting together a network of specialists, mental health support specialists, that's psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, counselors, whoever it is that can support this group of people. So I have a podcast. If you go into the link tree, I didn't put it in the description. I should have done that, but it's in the description of all my social media platforms, and even on the website www.humanitarianchronicles.com. That's the website that we are working on. You'll find that there. You'll be able to see where it is that I do the podcast. It's on YouTube under the same name, Humanitarian Chronicles. And we have been doing a lot of stuff, kind of like highlighting what I know, what I've gone through, what I've experienced in the last 22 years as a medical doctor, in the last 13 years as a humanitarian, in the last 30 years as a TV actor. I haven't done much of that. I'll do some focused kind of podcast on my humanitarian, my entertainment life, and some of the misconceptions people have, and the truths, some of the bitter truths and the realities. But I've mentioned some of them. So the idea is that, when people begin to pay more attention to the podcast, and of course listen to the humanitarians that will be coming on board, who will be with me. Already we have one lined up. I'm sure you've seen that teaser. You've seen the teasers going up. We have a wonderful person who will be bringing on the show on Tuesday next week. I don't know what time it is. It's going to be Tuesday. Pay attention, open your eyes. It's going to go very fast on YouTube, and the link will be shared on all our socials so that you're able to see what it is that people go through out there, even once they do that, whatever they do. Sometimes people look at us and we are smiling all the time. They have no idea the reason we're smiling is because we don't want to cry, or because we've cried so much there are no more tears to cry. That's also a thing. It's a mask we wear. So that we hide the pain and the wounds and the scars that we carry. Sometimes when we take off the mask, it scares even us. We have no clue who is under the mask, and we want to make sure that you, especially the person that we are serving, you, our viewer, you, our reader, if you have the book, if you don't have the book, please buy it. Are not scared. I need to make a copy of the book so that you can see. Are not scared and traumatized by what we tell you, even as much as we are creating awareness on mental health needs and issues and gaps and how to fill them and how we think we should fill them. So there is the book. This is the book. Shida has green screen and things cannot be seen. So the book looks like that. It's called Broken Souls, Chronicles of a Humanitarian Health Worker by Dr. David Wasambla. The dark front is basically to show you how on a daily basis we live in darkness, we walk in darkness, we struggle with darkness in our lives, in our hearts, in our souls, in our spirits, in our minds, whichever of those are actually true. That dying flower, basically every single one of us, the broken flower, the one that is just about to die, we are always just on the verge of dying at a mental health level, at a mental level, at a spiritual level, or at the level of our soul, because we are struggling so much on a daily basis. We see so much darkness, we see so much pain, we feel so much pain, we see so much death in our day-to-day lives. The white at the back is basically the light that we hope to be able to see. You see, there's more darkness sometimes because we have a lot of our existence in the field is filled with darkness, but there's also some white there. So that is kind of like, starting to peep through, the light beginning to peep through because there's some hope. And then at the back now we have the white. So we have more white, we have more hope, we have more light coming in, we have more like a reassurance of things getting better. So this is where the mental health part comes from, the mental health support, the mental health experts come in, where they are able to support us to make sure that we are not in complete darkness and that the flower does not completely die. This one is going to G, George. George is a very good friend of mine. Body by G, he does, you can't see the autograph. So G, Body by G, he bought this. Thank you so much, George, for buying this. Hata kama ilibidi tupigane na you're bigger than me, so labda ungenipiga, but I know things. Anyway, that was bought by G. His personal kind of trainer business is called Body by G because he trains people. He does private training. He does training for groups. Basically, he's a bodybuilder. He's an amazing sportsman, and he's so focused that he tells you from the beginning, I'll take you through pain, but you'll have to endure. And astaki kusikia story. So if he tells you 5 in the morning, you're in the gym. 5 in the morning in the gym. If you go carry 5 for 1, punishment. It's not that anachukia ufwala, anachukia laziness, anachukia non-consistency, anachukia is non-consistency a word? It is now. Yeah, anachukia fearfulness. Anyway, so that's for G. There's another book over there that has been taken by Mike Calvin, happens to be my nephew. Nakuja leo baadaye tupigane, tuko na vita fulani, kuna kesi imekuwa pending for like 6-7 years. That's beside the point, but it's also part of the point. Anyway, so Mike bought the book. Thank you so much, Mike. Asante sana, Mike. And Wendy, your wife, I think wamechanga pesa wakanunua pamoja. And the wonderful son Leo. You should see Leo. Leo has dreadlocks that are this long. Leo is very young but brilliant man. Mike, huyo mtoto amechukua akili zako zote na za Wendy zote, alafu wewe ulibaki na debe. Unajua Wendy kuna akili, wewe sijui kuna nini. Kuna akili peke yake, huna nywele. Kuna nywele peke yake, kuna akili. Anyway, Mike Paul, hiyo kesi bado haishi paka tukae tuongee leo. Haishi. I'll be bringing it to the fore in your life until you remember that. Tabia mzuri ni mzuri kushika tabia mbaya. Anyway, I'm kidding. Maybe. Am I? Yeah. So those 2 books have been bought by these wonderful people, and I really appreciate any time somebody buys a book. It basically means of course it means a little money in my pocket, but there's a reason why I'm looking for that money. But it means there's one more person that is becoming a voice for us, that is becoming a mouthpiece for us, that is becoming one of the people in the call to action, one of the people in this battle against mental health issues and against gaps in mental health. So this specialist may not just be the trained psychologists, therapists, counselors, psychiatrists, but also spiritual counselors, because there are people for whom if you do not address the spiritual aspect of life, you've done nothing for them. So we will have that also on board. So if you are out there and you would want to be part of this network, please reach out to me. Reach out via the website www.humanitarianchronicles.com. Reach out via our socials. Reach out via TikTok, messaging, whichever option that you feel is most comfortable. If you want it to be anonymous, there's email, there's various options that you can reach us to us anonymously. If you go to the link tree, the WhatsApp number for Broken Souls is one of the links that are there. Reach out there so that it's anonymous. You don't want sometimes you don't want everyone to know your business, to be all up in your business. So do that. If you want to volunteer also for this, please let us know. We would be happy to have this. However, the plan is this. I talked about merchandise. I talked about the book. I talked about merchandise. There's merchandise that we're releasing. Some of these t-shirts like this and other things, pens, bookmarks, stickers will at some point go on sale, capes, magic mugs, normal mugs, branded, bottles branded, key rings branded, all kinds of things that can be branded will be branding and selling. The reason for that is that we want to raise funds so that the services that will be offered by these specialists to any broken soul that comes can be subsidized to the broken soul. So you walk in and you need help. These people are able to help you whatever time you need them, but then we subsidize the cost for you. Nowadays, the consultation fee is anything from 6,000 and above per session, sometimes per hour. That is not cheap. And I keep telling people, each time I've been coming back from the field, I am out in the field anywhere between 6 weeks to 10 weeks, 6 weeks to 12 weeks. Sometimes there's a place with those 12 weeks officially to go for a break. And most of the time you spend more time in the field because stuff happening, emergencies happening, you can't leave. Maybe you can leave, but there's work to be done and stuff like that. So you've done 13, 14 weeks in the field and you're given 1 week break. You have to make a decision. The logical answer is one. You make a decision between being with the family, being with the loved ones, or spending that week looking for a psychologist or a mental health specialist, a psychiatrist, counselor, a therapist, looking for them, number one. Number two, going for sessions and paying for those sessions heavily. Now, if you already have one, that's good. Kudos to you. If you don't have that, it means you have to Google, find the person, get the person, go to their place of whatever, or do it online, whichever the way, but face-to-face is usually much better. And then you are there and you spend that money. So in that 1 week, are you going to be spending an hour every day in the office, an hour probably going, an hour coming back if you're lucky, depending on where you come from? If you're coming from outside the country like Athi River and Kitengela, you're spending probably 3 hours in the traffic jam and spending an hour in the office of the counselor. If online, you're spending an hour, but that's time being spent that is away from your loved ones in that 1 week, 2 weeks that you have. So are you going to do that? Spend money, spend time on getting therapy and getting help? Or are you going to be with your family in the little time that you have? Logically, for me, and logistically, I'd rather spend time with my family. Unless I'm completely broken, then they take me to a psychiatrist, then Nico Madari, and I'm admitted. So at that point, there's nothing much I can do. So, so that's the question, and that's basically the answer is most of the time, if not all of the time, we'd rather spend time with our families and loved ones, those few days that we're at home. So, so the idea is to subsidize that cost so that little time, so that there's an availability of a network of specialists to support you at the same time you subsidize cost for you. Initially, it might not be possible because we still have to push the merchandise out. I still have to push the book to be sold so that we have more people buying, we have more funds in the kitty so that I'm able to pump in that. It's going to be heavy because it's going to be out of my own pocket. So, but we see what we can do. Then the next level that we're hoping to get is eventually get someone, get a group, get an organization, get a donor, get a funding source that is able to pump in resources so that then the weight is taken off me as an individual or taken off us as a group of humanitarians who are supporting other humanitarians setting this up so that it's lighter on us, but then we make sure that the specialists, unless they're doing it voluntarily of their own volition, are able to get something out of the work that they're doing. The idea is to set up a full, a holistic item. So I said there's the mental health specialty part of it, then the spiritual component of it for those who need it. Those who may not need the spiritual part are okay just with the mental health part. But those who need to combine those two, we know that's the reality of life. So we need to have that catered for fully. But also we want to make sure that it's a full continuum of care. Full continuum is the same thing. It's an oxymoron. Anyway, so a continuum of care that is proactive, meaning they're available whenever they need, not reactive, that pop up when now you need them, but they're available anytime you need them, all the time. And number two, it is a continuum of care that is pre-deployment, post-deployment, during deployment, pre, during, and post-deployment. So before you go in, there's someone to kind of help you mentally get ready for whatever you're going to, wherever you're going to there. And probably people who know this particular context very well, so they're able to give you an idea. That's what I was doing. I'm not a counselor, but I've done several courses, certified courses in mental health issues, PFA, psychological first aid, MHPSS, mental health, psychosocial support, and a number of others that had to do with mental health. So I'm able to do some bit, and I'm planning to go and do a master's and or PhD in the mental health, MHPSS, in emergency settings, so that we're able to, I'm able to now see how to set up the programs in a much better way, more strategic way, more efficient, more effective way. So we want to make sure that, we are supporting you during the deployment. When you're in there, you're able to have someone available to talk to you, but also we'll release to you material that can help you do self-regulation, so that when you're not able to access, not every time, especially in conflict areas, not every time you're going to get access to the phone, access to WhatsApp. They sometimes turn off the internet, turn off the network connectivity, phone connectivity, so there's no communication in or out of the location. At that moment, you need to be able to sort yourself out. So at that moment, then you need to be able to self-regulate. Welcome, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining. Today we're doing a two-part live. We are doing frequently asked questions, and we're doing a discussion on our planned PADS funds ride for Turkana Lokapel, Turkana Lokapel Mixed Senior Secondary School. The girls there are in need of sanitary pads. We are working with a team. I'll talk about the team in a bit. And then the third part of this continuum of care is, of course, post-deployment. You've come back from the field. You've gone and picked more trauma, collected more trauma, been traumatized somehow. What do you do? Where do you go? Who do you speak to? This network of specialists is the one that we want to make sure is available for you, so that you're not struggling to find someone, and then you can afford it, or at least it is fully subsidized and fully covered for you. You walk in, call, get your services for free, and somebody is able to do that. That's now what we're hoping for ultimately in the near future, so that we have that funding available, again, to take off the weight from me as an individual. As I was mentioning, for Gaza, when I was, that was 2024 to 2025, July 2024, is it July? April 2020, no, yeah. July 2024 to August 2025, I was supporting Gaza through World Health Organization to the Eastern Mediterranean Regional Office, EMRO, based in Cairo, based in Egypt, Cairo, working through Jordan, Amman, but going to Gaza itself. So I was in Gaza once for 2 months, about 2 months, between September and October of 2024. So before that and after that, I was the deputy coordinator for the Emergency Medical Teams Coordination Cell, based in Cairo at the regional office, led by a wonderful doctor, a wonderful surgeon, Dr. Hussam Abulwan. Hussam, where are you? I've been trying to find you and you're not responding. You must be busy. Also, I understand the situation. Hussam is Gazan, so he's basically from Gaza. He's currently been based in Cairo for some time, and is the coordinator. I don't know if he's still the coordinator. I need to figure that out, but he was the coordinator at that time. An awesome gentleman. He's proper gentleman. He's amazing. He's supportive, helpful, wonderful. He was a brother to me. He's a brother to me. His family is just amazing. His family in Cairo, his family in Gaza, his family in the UAE. Unfortunately, I won't talk about the unfortunate part. He will talk about it maybe if he comes on the interview on the podcast sometime soon. Hopefully I'll talk to him and figure that out. So yeah, we were with Hussam, and as a deputy coordinator, my role was, one of the activities I was doing was doing briefing for teams going into Gaza, international medical teams, international emergency medical teams, IEMTs going into Gaza, and supporting them while they're in Gaza when possible, if needed, because there was a team inside Gaza. Topic for another day. Kulikuwa na mangori mtu wangu, kulikuwa ngori zingine za utiaji, udu, ufala. Kuna mse moja hapo mtu wangu, irangi bwana, we o jamaa maze mmejovilao sana kuanga saa zingine na sisi. Huyo jamaa ali-exhibit hiyo mbelena. Story for another day. Nisichome picha saizi, nitachoma baadaye. Nishachoma kidogo, nishachoma WHO kidogo, nitachoma ingine tena kidogo. Ni vile niko na nawe, lakini sitaki nikupatia kazi mingi sana. Asiomoke na mimi. Ati sasa niko kotini na pigo ma lawsuit, alafu nimevaa suti, niko lawsuit, alafu napatia lawyer pesa aniokolea, alafu ashinde juu WHO wako na kichele mob kunishinda. Ama ni vichele. Anyway, yeah, so I was supporting the briefing. So it's security briefing, basic security briefing, because there's a whole UN security team and a UN coordination team that is doing the full security briefing. Mine was to let them know basics. You're going into this place. You need to make sure that you're safe. You need to make sure that the curfew is adhered to from this hour to this hour. You need to know that. You need to know that there's a mental health part. You need to know, show them some photos. You need to know that there's bombing every hour, like missiles landing every hour. There are missiles passing overhead every probably 2 minutes. There's gunshots every minute or every second. There are gunshots ringing. It could be like a pistol, a handgun, automatic rifles, whatever the case. Tanks are shooting every so often, probably every half an hour. There are tanks shooting, and they're quite loud, and you can feel the vibration on the ground. Drones are 24 hours. So their drones are overhead 24 hours. So there's this buzz that is always in the air every single moment. Eventually you get kind of used to it. Your mind kind of numbs to it and blocks it out, but you're always hearing it. That's why we don't sleep very well. Then there are quadcopters that now come lower, they come closer, and you hear them, and they're very annoying. And sometimes they just come buzz out of your window for like 2 hours in the night, and that is even worse. And of course, every morning from 3 a.m. they intensify the attacks. So Gaza gets hit harder, more often from 3 o'clock every single morning. That was during the active phase of the war. I know now during the ceasefire, they're still being hit. And even before the active phase of this war, they were still being hit. That's the reality. They've been shelled and they've been being shelled. They were being shelled for many, many years, even before this actual war kicked in and was quite messy. So yeah, so 3 a.m., that's why I don't sleep from 3 in the morning, because 3 in the morning, my brain is already awake trying to figure out, am I safe, am I not safe, where do I run to? In Gaza, there was nowhere to run to. In Gaza, there was no air raid alert that warns you of something coming in, there's a missile coming in. There's no warning system. There are no Telegram groups, there are no WhatsApp groups, there are no signal groups that people are sharing and saying, oh, you've had an alert, or you're going to hear an alert, an air raid alert, and there'll be missiles passing from this place to that place. They might hit, they might not hit. Sometimes they tell you they're going to pass and don't worry. Sometimes they tell you, you're going to hear an alert, or you're hearing an alert, there are missiles coming in towards you. They'll be hit by counter-strike measures, or they won't be hit. There are drones coming. In Ukraine, that was it. In Ukraine, at least there was some kind of warning system. Of course, sometimes it was late, because those things go at supersonic speed. So by the time it has left the silo, or it has left where it has been released from, the alarm is hitting, and within 30 seconds sometimes, or shorter, the thing has hit. So sometimes they are on the way. By the time the alarm is triggered, it has hit, or countermeasures have hit. And even when countermeasures hit them, they are hit, but they're huge. This is a humongous, it's metal, it's like a plane, so it's hit, and of course the debris falls, and it can still kill, and they do kill people and destroy buildings and livelihoods and properties. That's Ukraine. So Ukraine made sense, quote unquote, made sense, because there was an alarm kind of system, there was an early warning system, there were air raid alerts, you kind of knew. And then there were bunkers where you can go to. Every building, almost all buildings had basements. You could go to the basement. Worst case scenario, you can go to the basement, find 2 walls where there are no windows, go between 2 walls in a corridor. Where there are no windows, at least you're safer, because those walls are pillars, they're basically holding the building, so chances are you might survive if everything collapses around you. Or go to the toilet. Toilets don't have big glass windows, so the chances of you getting cut as bare minimum are limited, minimized. On the other hand, yeah, they also have their, because of the size, the pillars, the walls are closer, and they're basically pillars, support pillars in that room, so they might save you. When you go to the basement, the basements, of course, are held up by the pillars that hold the building, so much safer than being in open air or being in the rest of the building. Or within the city, there were bunkers. There were bunkers basically everywhere. You could run to a bunker, go down there, you're safer. Unless you're hit, the bunkers hit directly, you're safer. Then there's some of them had Wi-Fi down there, and because it's like 2-3 floors down sometimes. Had Wi-Fi, had basic supplies, some drinking water, maybe some dry snacks, stuff like that. In Gaza, when the missile hit, that's when you knew you were alive, because as you see at the top of the book up here, there's this quote. There's this quote I mentioned here. It was told me by a policeman after I had survived an armed bandit attack, and I was very traumatized. 2-3 weeks later, I was still traumatized, saying, hey bro, man, I'm still traumatized. I can still hear the gunshots ringing in my ears. I can still hear how they sounded when they were hitting the sand and the trees and the bushes around me. I was like, hey, if the bullet was meant to kill you, you'd not have had it. Be happy that you had it and you're alive. That's what is said in the military, the police, the circles where there's a lot of shooting and stuff like that. So in Ukraine is when I also coined my own, which is one of the bookmarks. If the bomb was meant to kill you, you would not have had it. It got worse in Gaza. If you had it, it meant you were alive, hopefully. Maybe your ghost is now the one. Maybe my ghost is now talking to you. And I think I'm doing TikTok lives and doing shows and going around. Maybe it's in my mind. You've seen those movies where someone died, but they have no clue. Like which movie was this? Others. Have you watched Others? I think it's The Others with what's her name? Gosh, I'm forgetting her name. But it's a very, very famous lady. Not Michelle Pfeiffer. Nicole Kidman. If you watch The Others, Nicole Kidman, it's this family that has been living in this house, a woman and her children, and has workers in the house, and they keep thinking they're being haunted for the whole movie. And the doors are banging, piano is playing, and they walk in, and things are moving in the room. And so one time the lady, she tells her children the curtains should never be open because the light affects them, and it does in some kind of way. They can never leave the compound. Her husband went to war, and she never knew the husband was alive. One day he comes back. At the end of the movie, let me spoil for you. It's an old movie, so maybe you watch and watch it. You can look for it. The Others with the Nicole Kidman. And at the end of the movie, it turns out that they are the ones who had died many, many years before, but they have no clue. The woman and her children and even the workers had died, but the workers are trying to help them understand that they are not alive, but they didn't know. The people they thought they were haunting them were the ones who were living in that house. That was their house, but they didn't know they died, who were living in this house. And so they were haunting the people in the house. So when they were hearing doors banging and they were going and opening and closing them, they were actually the ones who were closing and opening them. Anyway, so I don't know, maybe I'm a ghost and I see Sijui. I'm here talking to you, I'm thinking, I'm telling you about if you survived the bomb, Sijui, if you had the bomb, maybe I died and I have no idea. So, something had cut me. Damn, that's painful. Yeah. And I peeled it. I thought it was something stuck on my finger. It was a piece of skin that was sticking out, and I just peeled it. Yay! Anyway, so I was always briefing people. So I went into Gaza, and I saw for myself, felt for myself, experienced for myself. But me going into Gaza was partly because, one, that was part of my job, to go and do coordination work in Gaza when the coordinator there was away. Kulikuwa na siasa zingine mbaya ndio maana nilikaziwa kurudi at some point. Kubaya huku nje watu wanachimbana, wanakata na magoti, wanamalizana hizi majobs. Bro, you feel free to join humanitarian work, but come in knowing that it's a war. The war around you, and then the war within the organizations you're working. I used to tell people, why are we fighting among ourselves? Even when I was in the Gaza project, why are you fighting among ourselves? Already people are being killed around us. Already we are at risk of being killed every single day. Those missiles that fall and we hear them, one day we might never hear them. Then we still fight among ourselves. We're supposed to be here supporting the people that we've come to serve, but we're fighting among ourselves. Sometimes fighting so much that you can't even function and support the people you're supposed to support. Story for another day. let me not dive. You had some, I was getting passionate because, yeah, it's effed up. Some things that people do in these organizations is messed up. Then you realize they're only there for the money. They have no love for the people they are helping. Anyway, yeah, so I was always briefing people, showing them photos, showing them sometimes videos of the recent attacks. Sometimes what you see on the media is like 2-3 weeks late. The level of damage, the level of attacks is 2-3 weeks past. Those who are in there are actually seeing the things happening. Yeah, sparkling water with lemon is a vibe. It's an acquired taste. This one time, I was at Two Grapes in Kilimani for a stand-up comedy. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'll quickly tell you who I am in a short while. I'm a stand-up comedian. For the last 30 years, I began doing stand-up comedy in Russia, writing and performing professionally, both on stage and on TV. And a TV actor also for that length of time, 30 years. And then, of course, medical doctor for 22 years since I started working, 24 years since I graduated. 22 years since I graduated and about 21 years since I started working. I don't remember. I told you I have cataract in this left eye, so I'm allowed to forget things sometimes. Sorry for the belch. I've just drunk sparkling water. Has bulbul water. Bulbul water has burps. It comes with its own burps inbuilt. Anyway, so should I go and take a ride? Where? Good one. So what was I saying? The briefing part, yeah. So one time I remember I was doing briefing for the teams. The teams used to enter. I don't know if it has changed. We would enter Gaza Tuesday and Thursday only. So entry and exit to Gaza was Tuesday and Thursday, twice a week. Sometimes the days would be changed depending on whether there's a public holiday or there's an intensive attack around the entry areas or the intensive attack within the whole of Gaza or intensive fighting. Then they would postpone the entry or the exit because it was unsafe for the international staff or for anybody basically. So every Monday or Sunday, because in Egypt and also in Gaza they basically work 7 days a week. In Egypt you work from Sunday to Friday because of the Islamic kind of days of worship and working days. So yeah, so Sunday to Friday was our day. So our weekend was Friday and Saturday. Sorry, Sunday to Thursday. I'm sorry, Sunday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday was our weekend. So yeah, so Tuesday, Thursday were the only entry and exit days. So I was the one briefing teams. That was like my main job. When I was away, then of course Dr. Usam would take over or anybody else. But it was either me or Usam, but I was the one who was doing it. And I was also doing the mental health part. If I remember, I've talked about that, so I won't talk about that today. So I was the one who was briefing teams to go in every Monday or Sunday. Then yeah, give them all the information they need and So I tell them, show them photos, show them videos. So this one time, as during a briefing, I think on a Sunday, my colleagues in the office, suddenly there was an eruption of noise, and one of them had been speaking to somebody, I think in Gaza, and then she began screaming as she ran out of the room, and the other one ran after her, trying to figure out what's happening, and I'm like, oops, what's going on? So the second lady came back and she's like, oh yeah, so there's been an attack in the guest house, at the WHO guest house in Gaza, and we don't know what has happened. They were hit by, I think, a drone payload. So I'm like, yo, okay, guys, sorry, let's pause the meeting for a minute. I have to go talk to my colleagues and kind of figure out and like reassure them. So I went and talked to them. They're like, yeah, I was on the call with our colleagues and they had just been hit by a small drone payload. The upper floor had been hit, and so there was chaos. We still didn't know if anybody, there were any casualties or any what is it called? Casualties, not mortalities. The word I'm looking for. Mortality, the word I'm looking for. Anyway, if there were any deaths. We didn't know that moment. So I assured her, I said, okay, let me know if anything changes. Let me go finish the meeting. Came back to the meeting. Guys are like, oh, we're so sorry. What has happened? I have mentioned briefly, our guest was attacked in Gaza. We don't know what's happening. We're going to figure, let's finish the meeting. So we finished the meeting. I shortened the meeting a bit, but I gave them all the information. So I was one who was like showing them the photos. Please, when they're going in, please realize that this one is an active war zone. Look at how the buildings are collapsed and the buildings are destroyed. Most of Gaza is now basically rubble. And if you see the photos before the war, it was a whole city with basically skyscrapers and wonderful roads and stuff like that. And then now it's rubble, like rubble. Everything is on the ground. You can see there's a building here, there's a hotel here, there's an apartment here. Everything is out. And the reality is that under that rubble, there were many bodies, thousands of bodies under that rubble that whenever salvaged, whenever removed, because I mean those were areas that were under heavy active attack. So yeah, sad. So yeah, as I was doing that briefing and also debriefing when they came out, mine wasn't more psychological, mine was programmatic debriefing. However, they would tell me stuff. I'm like, yeah, this is a debriefing talk, and they would just talk, and you could sense, you could see the pain that they had. I was even talking to them during the response. You could sense the pain they had, the pain they felt, what they had gone through. It was palpable, it was visible. It was quite unfortunate. Wajiko, deportee, uko hapa. Are you in? Thank you for joining. Everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being supportive. Please feel free to like. Leo kuna mtu like, I'm at 0 likes. I'm at what na church. Ni sawa tu. Ndeni church mtu ambaye sisi wenye tuendi. For whatever reason, tuendi. Anyway, mimi huyo deportee tuko na kesi. Wajiko, shiko tuko na kesi. Atunatoka Mary. Nidemo neto Mary. Tiwenjiko is a long time watcher and rising. When a long time watcher and watch leo mara ya kwanza. When you watch to me, but then a long time you watch like Kambili. Thank you so much. I don't take for granted that you may watch. Si kila mtu watch by the way. Niko na marafiki hata wanaangiza vitu. Best yangu fulani, I thought ni best yangu. Kesi baadaye. Kesi ni leo. Kalamu zako niko nazo na bado tuko na kesi. So kalamu zako nimekalia. Not literally. Sasa nimekalia kiti, but naweza zikalia. Anyway, kuna best yangu fulani juzi. Namwambia so and so is a broken soul. Leo umekuwa number one guest. Hebu weka like wewe deportee. So deportee Wanjiko is an author, a fellow author. Wanjiko Gitagia is a fellow author. She's written a wonderful fiction book called Deportee. You need to read that. You need to find that book. I don't even have it. Let me come and flash it for you. Wewe Wanjiko hujaongelea book yangu. Why am I talking about your book? Yangu hujaongelea. Shauri yako. Nenda kuchomea picha. I will burn for you picture. Bookmark pia iko hapa ndani. The bookmark is here. So I hope you can see. There you go. So that's the book. You see the book? Deportee. Leo have I turned the camera? But when I come in, turn camera by the video. This guy is upside down. Yo. Mirror your camera. Should I mirror the camera? Miss G by the someone tell me. Ndio nasoma. Sisemi shida we deportee shida gusia tusome book. Kusoma ni shida yako. Hata unaweza tumia kushika na free. Piga debe, beat debe, beat drum, beat jerrycan. Piga debe. Unaona vile piga debe. Mimi sasa nimesoma. Anyway nimesoma. So this is a wonderful book by Sheiks Wanjiko Gitagia. Please get it. It's an amazing book. You will have fun, and it has emotional parts. Kuna kitunguu, kuna pale Wanjiko alikata kitunguu kwa book huko mwisho. And katikati, yeah, one of my nieces alisoma akasema, "Ai, mama ni mbaya. Mama si ni mbaya." She was so hurt by the mother kwa book. Wanjiko utaambia watu story yako. Nipigie debe kwenda huko ati unasoma sasa hivi. Unasoma nini sitaki usome. Unataka useme. Sio tu useme kesi baadaye. I'm still seeing that. So akona hizi bookmark ziko fiti sana. Inasema wait, it's upside down. Inasema story ina slap kuliko slippers ya mama. Wenye mlitandikwa na madhe, debe nitapiga. Anyway, hujui kupiga debe, so nakupigia debe. Akona bookmarks hapa zinakuja with the book, so please grab a copy. Grab a copy of the book, grab a coffee as you read the book, and ujibambe. Deportee is a good book. Incidentally, I bought the book just before I went to the UK. Niko kana isoma. Ni kama nimedeportiwa watapata motivation hapana. Siku hiyo nimedeportiwa kutoka UK ama nikienda UK. I wish ushetaka kudeportiwa kutoka country yenu, kudeportwa ni nchi nyingine. Hizi story hii nchi yetu ni ngori. Unataka kusukuma nchi nyingine by force hata kama ni UG. But no, not necessarily. Poleni kwa watu UG, but yo kama Zanzibar. Hapana, hata Zanzibar kideportiwa. Asante sana Sheiks niko na si pen zako 3 ziko na nini, hii ni yangu, this one is mine. Yako unajua vile zinakaa zako 3 Whatever is naka. So basically 3 times 8 uko na pens 24. Wait. 3 times 8 ni 24. Well, mimi sikumbuki, mimi niko na high blood pressure. Shauri yenu. Mimi sijui kufanya maths. I have high blood pressure. So chana na mimi. Mguu yangu right ni fupi. Naweza sahau vitu. Anyway, so where was I? Where Sheiks umekuja uka-interfere. So hebu amsha Silver Fox. Hii story katike bana. Wacha na Silver Fox. Mtachana mimi na mambo za Silver Fox, and why one of my names is Silver Fox. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Anyway, so as I was saying, so one was briefing the teams and debriefing them, and of course the psychological part. So one of them told me, it's crazy that you go to work as a surgeon or as a medical doctor, as a specialist, and you have local colleagues who sometimes are cousins. So mko job na ma brother wawili pia ni ma surgeon, you're working with them together, you're seeing patients together. They go home in the evening, tomorrow morning one guy comes back there and then come back. So you're thinking, why is so and so late? When he today is taking an off because there was no plan for an off. Then you're told, you remember that fourth missile that hit last night, or the fourth missile that hit like 4 a.m. You're like, yeah, kwani what's up? They're like, yeah, so he and his family were all killed in that attack. His family meaning yeye, bibi yake, watoto wake, and maybe his father and his mother and his father-in-law and mother-in-law and cousins were killed in the attack. So 2 cousins go home, 1 cousin comes back. And he can't stay home. Reason is that if he stays home, number 1, he's still in the war. Number 2, the trauma is still there. Number 3, and then he stays at home, and then what? So he'd rather come to work and support and help people to get his mind off what's happening. They are Muslims, so they already buried, like by fasting in the morning, they had buried the whole family. Another time, now you, the international staff, or you, the staff who were working with somebody, the person went home, they never came back to work. They are gone. You don't know if that day will end and you'll be alive. You don't know that 10 o'clock tea utakunywa. You don't know that lunch after 10 o'clock tea will be available because if you'll be there. You don't know that you'll go home in the evening. You don't know that when you go home you'll wake up tomorrow morning. You have no idea. One time we were hit so hard. One time the missile, it hit, the whole house shook. Kama kawaida, but this one, I don't know, this one was closer. So I was already awake at 3 a.m. It hit at the same time, it hit. And then there was an orange glow all around us. Nikajua, tuko hell. You know hell. I just knew bars. Thanks, Sheiks. Thanks, Sheiks, for liking. The 2 likes, 3 likes zote ni zako. Asante sana. Kali sana. Leo ni wewe ndio master liker. Fanya vidole hivi. Tap. I'm joking, but I'm not. Because ujai kuja kwa live yangu. Mimi was on a live. Nata nikanua book kwa live. Nuna book ingine leo. Ndio tuache hii kesi. Haitaisha. Na unatapu kweli. Ujui jokes. Usijue jokes. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I do not take for granted. Asante, Sheiks. And everybody who's watching, everybody who's joined, thank you so much. Wa to you too. Wa for Wasambra. Wa for Wajiko. Anyway, thank you so much. Everybody who's watching, who's here, who's joined, who stayed on, and thank you, Sheiks, again for that. Thank you for your book, Deportee. Your name is Deportee, by the way, officially and unofficially. Ongeza kwa ID. Mimi Rastadoka alisema, poleni. Ni mapema asubuhi napata allergies. I'm drinking cold sparkling water with the lemon. So nimejiambia lemon inatoa nini? Niko na ginger shot. Ginger shot nikijaribu ya Greens Market. Nikijaribu saa hizi mtaona nikilipuka. Iko na ginger ni moto. So I'll take it after this. So it hit so hard. There was an orange glow like fire around the whole building. You'll see. I don't know if you've seen the teaser that we are doing for Kagwere Murungi's interview. They see there's fire coming up in the foreground. That orange linear fire. That's what I saw. So the missile hit and there was fire all around. You see the windows has to go yellow, orange, worse than that. Like moto. And I knew leo tumekufa. I knew we were dead. That's why I'm saying kama labda nimekufa na mimi ni ghost na naongea na niongelesha na ndani nini. Violation detected. What violation detected? Wewe. What violation detected? Who has violated the live? Come on, I have to end the live now so that I'm not banned. Come on, people. What violation? Ama ni vile nimesema mlipuko. Basi kuliko tunalipuka, najua the things you can't say. Okay, I need to go. Let me shut down, then I'll be back shortly. Msiende mbali. Just kaa hapo kwa kona. I know, I understand. Kaa hapo kwa kona. Ah, man. Ay.